Hello. So this video marks the beginning of yet another set of explorations within the realm of technology integration in education. Particularly this week, I will be discussing and reviewing um, starting this week, I'll be discussing and reviewing either a learning management system or another type of professional development technology tool. But this week, I will be reviewing the learning management system, or the LMS, I'll refer to them as, called Blackboard. So I chose to do Blackboard because it was the first LMS I used when I came to the University of Nebraska. And when I had heard that our campus would be making a complete switch from Blackboard to Canvas, a different LMS, I was really interested in kind of learning why, because honestly, I have not really considered myself incredibly savvy in terms of all the different pros and cons of learning management systems, comparing, one to the other, at least not up to this point. Of course, I'm going to need to get a lot more familiar with the major differences that would make one much better than the other. But honestly, I remember kind of just going through high school and kind of accepting whatever it was that our teacher wanted us to use at the time, and didn't really think a lot past that. Of course, I noticed some annoying glitches, here and there, but I just kind of thought that was to be expected of technology in general sometimes. But like I mentioned before, I was really interested in learning more about why exactly UNL wanted to make that switch from Blackboard to Canvas. So like, what was it about Blackboard necessarily that people, or maybe just administrators, I'm not sure, didn't like? Or put another way, what was it about Canvas that was like exceptionally better than Blackboard? So I did a little bit of research and found out that, not surprisingly, the push for Canvas was based on its appeal to a population of piloting students and faculty members. And the features that they seemed to really like about Canvas were that its functions are very accessible with a mobile device, which I can remember with Blackboard not being able to do as many things directly on my smartphone. And also, I think Canvas, when compared to Blackboard, has a much more user-friendly interface. My personal experience, I can remember clicking through like a ridiculous number of tabs just to try to get to the one thing that I needed. But now with Canvas, everything seems to be much more localized in a single area, which is nice. In terms of the SAMR model, let's take a look at that here. So I'm afraid Blackboard falls just a bit short of the ultimate goal of transformation in student learning, and only sometimes serves as a tool for convenience and efficiency for an instructor, rather than an integral and very cooperative social learning tool as we should receive from an LMS. In my experience with Blackboard, I hardly ever used any additional technology resource or app within it, and it was often just kind of a substitution for what could easily be, a paper assignment. So perhaps it did have perks for professors in terms of grading efficiency, but that's not going to be what will best help students in that, redefinition and modification of their learning processes. So let's visit Blackboard just real quickly. This is just my page. Like we said, Blackboard is about to go out here at UNL, so they have this little page here for that. But this is what the original page looks like. As a future teacher, I would want my students to use an LMS that allows them to stay very organized, and I'm afraid Blackboard doesn't do an incredible job of that. As you can see, there are just like so many different tabs here, and a lot of them seem kind of redundant. So for example, we have like my courses and organizations, but then we have this courses and organizations tab. And like, I don't know, it just seems like you should either have one or the other, and like, let's see if we go back here. It just feels very cluttered, and that kind of bothers me. The thing I do like, though, is that it has a direct link for MyRed, which here at UNL is very helpful, and that's where you can kind of set up your classes. So that was nice. But the other thing about Blackboard is that it's not very rich in multi-modalities. The page seems very text heavy, and that's kind of it, you know. So I mean, in my future classroom, I would want to utilize an LMS that provides much more differentiation for my students' learning methods, whatever they might be. And I think that honestly comes from the use of a much more differentiated system itself.